Okay, and here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Bwtm Sports. If you haven't hit the subscribe button already, please do hit the subscribe button, smash the like button, share the video. Okay, so also we have now launched, a website is back, www.bwtmonline.com. So we've got there sports, gaming, news, health, community, travel. So it's all there. At bwtmonline.com. You can check it out and see what we're up to, what we've been up to over the time. So what do we talk about first? Well, we can talk about the recent interviews we've had on the channel. We had Edgar Berlanga, unbeaten 13-0, 13 by KO, signed by Top Rank, up and coming banger boxer. Knocked all these guys out, I think, in the first round. So he's definitely one we've got our eye on. You know, us at Bwtm, we like to pick the guys up early and spot them early before they go on to become champions. So Edgar Berlanga, check the interview out there. After that, we welcomed back our good friend. Well, you probably question if we're friends at the moment because I haven't spoken to you for so long. Derek James, the trainer of Jamil Charlo and unified champion Errol Spence Jr. So check that interview out as well. It's on this channel. And then yesterday we had a real treat. We had the former WBO heavyweight champion of the world and Olympic gold medalist Ray Mercer. And that interview, Mercer was quite merciless in terms of revealing the people on PEDs and about his career. Didn't pull any punches with what he had to tell us on Bwtm Online, and I was stunned throughout the interview at things that I was led to believe one way. Ray was quite honest and open, and you can believe what he was saying. He's a man that fought with his heart on his sleeve, and mentioned things about he knew Tommy Morrison was on PEDs before the fight, explained how he found that out. He said that Lennox Lewis admitted to him that he'd lost the fight. Lennox told him he lost the fight and Ray had beaten him. The strategy Ray used to beat Tommy Morrison, talking about Larry Holmes in that fight, Evander Holyfield, why he took a knee against Evander Holyfield, how he got knocked out by Shannon Briggs. I mean, the way he got into mixed martial arts and his demolition of that mixed martial artist. So it's a really great interview. The only thing about it, he also gives us an insight on what it takes to be a champion. And he said that if it wasn't for his military background, he wouldn't have been the man that we all know Ray Mercer to be today. During the interview, and this is where the talking point of today is, during the interview, while talking to Ray Mercer, it was interesting because it was also broken live that Jarrell Big Baby Miller had popped dirty yet again for the third time. Now, Twitter is an acid pit for me, an absolute acid, a cesspit of opinions, mainly biased and not really balanced. Any idiot can open up a Twitter account and start tweeting. In fact, I think that Twitter needs to have some form of way of people having ID'd so that people are more accountable for the things they say and they do. They probably wouldn't be so stupid if they knew that their job revolved around it. Comment section. Sorry, didn't even have it up. Let's see who's in the house. Sorry. Hey, Hamza, how we doing, brother? I hope you're well. Good to see you in the room. So some of these people wouldn't be so brave on Twitter if their job's depending on it. So that's the sort of cowards we've got on Twitter. I say that to say this. Yes, Jerome Miller popped dirty for the third time. A repeat offender. And you wonder if he can bounce back from this. Well, GB Boxing, what's good? Ingram, salute to salute you. Smash the like button on the way in. Good to see you, my brother. Good to see you. Look, let me keep it absolutely real with you here, because can he come back? What the hell is Povetkin still fighting for? How many times did Povetkin get popped? Povetkin got popped once, twice, 3 times. This guy's been on pay-per-view shows in this country. This guy's back again, boxing now. I don't hear anybody talking about Povetkin or Luis Ortiz, who got popped. What about Luis Ortiz? Those are 2 guys that got popped. They are still. Luis Ortiz not fought once. He fought for the world title twice. Povetkin's in another pay-per-view show in the UK. So while everyone's talking about Jarrell Miller, just for 1 second, think. Povetkin, 1. Luis Ortiz, 2. And let's not talk about Canelo, right? Because he got done for stuff as well. And if you look at the evolution of Canelo's body, of how Canelo was before and how he is now, what's the ruling of that? Oh, okay, 6 months, and then you're okay, you can come back and box again. Didn't they say Tyson got popped with it as well? I don't know. So I just asked myself the question. Big Baby has accomplished nothing. So are you Macy Cartel? Are you from the opinion? I'm glad you've got this up actually. Are you from the opinion now that because you don't achieve something in boxing, that's the reason why we should be giving you flack? But if you achieve something in boxing and you're a cheat, then it's okay. That's what you're saying to me. So it's okay. Povetkin's a world champion, so it's okay if he gets caught. We can turn a blind eye to that. If Canelo gets caught because he's a champion, it's okay. We can figure out about that because he brings the money in. But Liam Cameron gets caught with something with a cocaine in the system. It's okay. We ban him from almost life. Is that what we're saying? And Luis Ortiz gets caught, but it's okay. He can still fight Deontay Wilder twice. That's acceptable, right? What did Tyson Fury serve 2 years for? Just a question. 2 years. It was 2 year ban for what was it? Somebody tell me. Hi, mate. Glad to see that you're still pumping out the boxing content. Hey, it's been pumped out. Povetkin and Price are becoming more recycled than plastic. Oh, yeah. Well, there we go. So this is my point. And while we're on the subject of Alexander Povetkin, are we gonna go down the stance of Alexander Povetkin being dangerous, or are we gonna go down the line of Alexander Povetkin being over the hill? Because I see a reoccurring pattern here in boxing. When Tyson Fury fought Anthony Joshua, when Tyson Fury fought Vladimir Klitschko, different subject I'm talking about. When Tyson Fury fought Vladimir Klitschko, he was considered, when Tyson beat him, he was considered over the hill. 2 years later, Joshua fight him, and it was the best ever Vladimir Klitschko we'd seen. The best ever. I mean, so now we've got Povetkin. When Klitschko beat him, he was the best Povetkin. But then when Joshua beat him, he was even a better Povetkin. But then when Huey Fury fought him, it was a over-the-hill Povetkin. And now, suddenly, from over the hill, Povetkin's become a beast again, and he's a top-rate fighter again. And he's what are the lines? And is it one line for one because the promoter says it is, and then another line for another time? What is it? We need to have some clear lines here in boxing, because this is what's destroying the sport. Big Baby's indictment of the sad state of the current heavyweight division, a damn circus. Yes, and if you remember, if you may not have been on the show, you may not have seen the show, but I talked about this a while back when I said boxing has become like the WWE. Go back. In fact, you know what I'm going to start doing? I'm going to start going back to X videos. Hey, my good friend, Lev Grahamson, do me a favor. We're going to, together, when I meet you, we'll sit down and talk about old videos that we do that I talk about things in the past and now bring them into the present and see how these words are coming into the present and the future. The boxing world has become like WWE. That's what it is. It's people going by script. And you got Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon, which are a matchroom. You know, it's an absolute joke. Sorry. Agree with Miller having lengthy ban, but Liam's situation is travesty. Well, if he's going to have a lengthy ban, then why doesn't Povetkin have a lengthy ban? Why doesn't Luz Ortiz have a lengthy ban? Why did Canelo have a lengthy ban? Why did Tyson Fury have 2 years and they didn't get 2 years? I don't get it. Surely a crime is crime. The intent is what I'm concerned about. If that is the case, why did Fury get banned in the first place for 2 years? If he served, somebody said to me, he served his ban 2 years, backdated. What did he get backdated for 2 years for? Can somebody please explain it to me? Is it possible that the elements found could possibly be traces that last year post Joshua scandal? Well, the question I asked, I said to myself back then, when go back and listen to that press conference, Drew Miller, when he was opening his mouth and talking very widely about Anthony Joshua. He was talking about Joshua cycling and Joshua this and just look at the people who have talked badly about Joshua and PEDs, and look what's happened to their careers afterwards. Look at them. Look what happened to Josie Parker. What did Josie Parker do immediately when they started talking about the PEDs? Did you say about the PEDs? What did Josie Parker go and do? Parker backed up and said, "Oh no, I apologize." Parker apologized real quickly, and it was hush hush. It was kept swept under the carpet, and no more was mentioned to Joseph Parker. Drew Miller mentioned it at a press conference, and before we know it, he popped dirty. So there's only 1 or 2 questions, only 1 or 2 things. One, Drew Miller has been dirty from day one, but they turned a blind eye to it. Or 2, this situation with Drew Miller now has been based on what happened with the Joshua situation back then, and they're making him pay for it now. 1 or 2 things, because either that I'm thinking to myself, all those fights we've seen Drew Miller up to the point before the Joshua fight, he was okay. Or was he? And if not, why wasn't he picked up back then? Why have we waited until now to pick him up? Just on the verge of the Joshua fight. Just a question. I don't know. But it just seems like another script in boxing. Povetkin has been getting worse each time. Okay. White feet fighting weakest Povetkin. Now, this Povetkin, as far as I'm concerned, don't know about anybody else, Povetkin is good enough and skilled enough to beat White. That's my thing of it. You know, when you think about Hughie Fury, he had that gold amateur championship. So he had a long, extensive background in the amateurs. You had Anthony Joshua from the amateurs as well, good at amateur background. You know, versed. You look at White, he really learned a lot of his boxing on the road. He was a kickboxer, converted boxer. Okay, so he learned his boxing on the road. Dillian White's evolution as a boxer really changed because he was just a puncher before, and then he got knocked up by Joshua, and that's where he started making the changes, if you remember. So it's a dangerous fight for Dillian White. It's a danger, and the fights with Dillian, the dangerous fights with Dillian White for me, like I said, the Oscar Rivas fight was a dangerous fight. The Josie Parker was a dangerous fight, and look, both of them put him on the canvas. But this guy, Povetkin, if he hits Dillian White and hurts him, he'll get White out of there. Because the thing that Rivas doesn't have and Parker doesn't have is Povetkin is a spiteful finisher. That's the difference. He knows how to put 3-4 punches together. He knows how to put a sequence together, and he's sneaky with it. He's sneaky. I said the same thing about when Joshua fought Ruiz. And I said, Joshua, when Klitschko dropped him, and when White hurt him, I said, the difference between when Ruiz does it is that he has a cluster of punches so that when he gets you hurt, he'll land 3, 4, 5 punches on top of you, overwhelm you and drop you. And this Povetkin, his skill set is a concern, right? I know you say he's older, but I'm not going to say he's the weakest Povetkin. I'm not going to say that because he's still dangerous in my eyes. It's all well and good sitting from a chair saying, oh, yeah, he's the weakest Povetkin. But I saw Hughie Fury unable to beat him. I saw Michael Hunter have life and death with him, and I rate Michael Hunter. So, and had that knockdown been scored in Povetkin's favor that night, we may be looking at a different situation. So I don't really want to turn around and start discrediting people. There's too much discrediting going in the sport of boxing, and it's destroying the sport. WWE indeed. Canelo taking me is more convincing than failing twice now. You're making excuses for people. This is why the sport is such a disgusting position it is today. Because if you're going to make one rule for Canelo and another rule for Jerome Miller, it's unacceptable. It's only because you like Canelo and because he's a pound for pound and he represents what you like or what you like to see. Is why you've got rules like that. That's how biasness comes in, and we know what the full extent of where biasness ends up. So I want you to be careful when we're thinking about, oh well, it's only Canelo because of tainted meat. That's the damn excuse. That's the damn excuse that we've been fed. I don't believe it. 3 times. All right. Povetkin got caught 3 times. And Povetkin got caught 3 times. I don't hear you talking the same thing about Povetkin. Why is Povetkin allowed to come to the UK and box Dillian White if he was caught 3 times? Huh? Miller popped dirty before AJ fight when he was kickboxing. Oh, yeah. And you were there at the time, right? Of course. Testing isn't even used for most low-level pro bouts. Dave Allen mentioned that Lucas Browne fighting had no testing, and I can't see how low-level USA pro bouts been tested. Maybe Miller has been on it. Well, let me give you some even further information there. If you really want to go there, there are guys that are going into boxing and fights, and they're not even getting head scanned. They're not getting CAT scanned. All right, because if they got CAT scanned, they wouldn't be boxing today. Check that one out. Check that one. You talk about PEDs. What about those guys who've got issues upstairs here in the brain, right? And there's some damage there, and they're boxing, and the promoter needs those fighters. Promoter needs those fighters to keep the money rolling in. Might be a good fighter, but he might have got injured in the fight. And they get the CAT scan, and that gets out. Don't want that. So we just kind of pay the doctor off to give us the result we want. This is something we need to be aware of as well. From day one, you mentioned Ingram. I did, didn't I? Yo, gang. Sean, how we doing, brother? Ruben Greer, true. Do you watch kickboxing too? Nah, I saw an article. Listen, now you're getting proper gun today. I love you, Ruben, but you're getting gun today. Articles of boxing. I have a problem with a lot of the media in boxing today. And I'll tell you why. Because a lot of the boxing and media today have a conflict of interest. I've said this before. I'll say it again. And I'll keep on reading it. When you go and read a boxing article, you expect it to be reputable. When you look at a boxing article, you think, oh, they're reputable because they've been around for so long. But they're also able to be in the pocket of these promoters. You know, they get their nice seat at the fights. They're there. They're getting how are they getting all these articles? How are they getting all this information? Who's leaking all this information to them? Where are they getting all this information from so easy? Where are they getting all the information from? Where are they getting it? They're able to talk to this person, and talk to that person, and talk to this person, and talk to that person. Open access here, open access there, open access here. Why is that? Surely, while that's all going on, there's got to be some sort of corruptible situation going on there. I'm sorry, but not everyone is above board. And it's like people look at these articles like they are the gospel. They look at it like it's the gospel. And they don't think to themselves, okay, who's actually behind, who's funding this boxing blog? Who's funding this information? Now, I'm not saying when I'm talking about boxing dates and times and when fights are going to happen and those things, that and I have a problem with that. We're dealing more in fact there. But when we're talking about boxing, we're talking about a person having an opinion or writing an article to disrespect or disregard another fighter's career to boost another fighter's career that may be in a certain camp. So if I fight a Joe Blogg's camp, I'm going to write very favorable things about Joe Blogg's fighters. But however, when anything that doesn't come from Joe Blogg's fighters camp, then I'm going to write disrespectfully about. There's a lot of that out there. And you have to watch these boxing articles and these boxing forums to watch what happens at certain fight times. Watch the fight, the lead up to a fight, and look and see who the promoter is. Watch the lead up to it, and then watch fighters that come outside of that and see if they give them the same build up. And if they don't, you've got to ask yourself a question: who is funding these boxing writers? Because there's a lot of them that are being funded by promoters. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. When I told you about Dan Raphael, what did I tell you about him? What did I tell you about him? And he was all up with moving from one organization to another. Of course, when you go there, you've got to write in the favor of that promoter. You've got to write in the favor of them. You've got to write in favor of the organization. If you don't write favorably of the organization and you're not an independent, what ends up happening to you? You get thrown out. You get sacked. You get sidelined. So Dan Raphael's an example. I'm not saying he is or he's not. I'm giving you an example of a boxing writer. There's a lot of them around that are not independent, and they may tell you they're independent, but unfortunately, you're not independent when you are being paid by a promoter. You're not independent because you don't have an independent level of speech or expression of speech. This is what happens when you watch Sky Sports 9 times out of 10. You've got a whole bunch of people around the table. There are a bunch of company men. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. You can see it yourselves. So they're not going to speak out of turn. They're not going to speak out of line, because if they speak out of line, they speak out of turn. Guess what? They're not going to get that gig no more. So they're guys who speak out of turn, out of line. What happens? They get fired. You don't see them again because they don't speak what the system is. So how the system wants it to be. So when you say about Twitter articles, I'm sorry, I have a real problem with it. Not all, but a lot of them. White has been popped twice, cleared or not? Well, yeah. I think the first time I remember talking to Dilly, and he says it was over the counter. And Enzo Macronelli got popped as well, but I think it was a situation where, if I'm right, I could be wrong here, somebody please correct me, but it was a substance that wasn't banned at the time. It was from a boxing magazine. So they thought because it was in a boxing magazine, it was okay. And it was something from over the counter. So I don't know, this thing about popping, when there's things that's blatantly helping your performance, then I think we need to obviously, and we've got to also ask the question as well, people. We must ask the question. When we talk about people popping, as I said a long time ago, this PED thing, people are more likely to talk about somebody popping and jump on the bandwagon of it than talk about an upcoming young fighter and give them the same energy. And that's a sad thing about a sport. We're more likely to talk about the down and out situations, the negative situations in the sport, than talk about the positive things in sport. That's a fact. If I came in here and talked to you about, I don't know, Matthew Hammond, he was a fighter with 10-0, had 10 knockouts, great amateur pedigree, and we're talking about him. And then I said, oh yeah, this is Matthew Hammond, 10-0, 10 knockouts, won the ABA championships, won Olympic gold medal, and he popped for PEDs. What story are you going to listen to? The PED story. Because that's the way it is. People like the PED story. So I always ask myself the question, okay, PEDs, yes, if the person is genuinely, and I use the word genuinely, not a promoter or an organization using the PED thing to wreck a person's career because they don't fall in line, because they didn't speak what they didn't do, they went off script. If you're getting done with PEDs because you went off script, is that fair? I don't think it's fair. So, and I noticed that Jarrell Miller, when he was talking all that stuff, afterwards, after that Joshua thing, he suddenly got popped. And if you look at Dillian White, he was talking that stuff. Remember Dillian kept saying, oh yeah, you know, Joshua's a good cycler. He's the best cyclist. Why do you think he always goes off to Dubai? Remember when he said all that stuff? Then what happened just after that? Did he get popped? Did he get popped? Did Billy Joe Saunders get popped as well? And Billy Joe Saunders was talking as well? Did he get popped? I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore when I hear these PED stories anymore, whether they're genuine or they're political. And that's the thing. I'm not quick to jump and say, yeah, he popped. Yeah, he's dirty. I'm going to say, yeah, he popped. Is this genuine or is this political? Is this genuine? Is he really a cheat or is this politically motivated? And not many of us are prepared to ask that question. Because, of course, the sources that we get it from are legit. They can't possibly be corrupted or corruptible. If we read it on the internet, it's got to be true. And I can tell you for a fact that a lot of times I've read stories sitting right next to the person. I said, you reading this? Yeah. I said, did you arrange this? Do you know anything about this flight? No. No, didn't know anything about it. My managers never told me about it. The promoters never told me about it. But this story's out there. There's a lot of situations like that. And so I'm not talking to you about these situations from just off the top of my head and just some wild thing. These are things that I've seen documentations to back it up as well. There are people that have been accused of being PED'd and popped, right? And then when you look at the documentation, it ain't PEDs at all. It's an energy drink. So I'm to myself, well, how did we get from PED to energy drink? So politically motivated. That's why I'm not suggesting for 1 second Jerome isn't dirty. But what I am saying is also be aware of the political motivation. And when you're messing around with people like Canelo and Joshua, you're talking about big investment and big money. And your big loud mouth coming along as Jerome Miller, you can't bring that sort of money to the party. You can't bring that sort of money to the party. And that, you're not worth it. Nor is Dillian White. They can't generate the sort of money that Joshua brings to the table. And if they could, it'd be different, but they can't. So that's the thing. Huge investment, huge money, and with this huge money, people want to protect their investments. And they won't want other people interfering with their business. That's it. It's business, I guess. Boxing's a business first. It's entertainment second. A multimillionaire eating tainted meat, LOL. Canelo just got caught that time. LOL. WBC tipping the levels of Clen because Mexican fighters keep getting caught. Interesting. The sport needs a major shake-up, but I can't see it happening. It's a shame. Larry Albameru talked about PEDs as well. He took them all his credit because he assumed everyone was taking on them. Yeah, the chemist they used to call him. My good friend Larry. Hope you're watching. I hope you're well, my friend. Ingram, Ruben was right about Big Baby getting caught when he was skilled kickboxing. That's true. I did hear about that myself. But that's where I know him from. This was before he was a boxer. Yeah, sure. Okay. He popped for something. Yeah, I know, because I know that even Stavern made comments about his breasts. So I understand that. I get that. Remember, I'm not saying he didn't. Now, remember, I'm not saying he didn't pop dirty now. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we need to look at this politically, and we need to look at this like if he popped dirty. And the other question to ask is, if he popped dirty, if he kept his mouth shut and didn't say what he said about Anthony Joshua, would we be none the wiser about Miller's dirty popping? That's what I want to know. That's the question we should be asking ourselves. Had he kept his mouth shut, had he not mentioned about Joshua and interfered with Anthony Joshua at that press conference, would that fight A have gone ahead? And B, would we be talking about Miller popping today? That's the question. That's the question. Let's see. I'm going up here. Yeah. Okay. Mike Coppiner reported the latest Miller PD allegation. Yep. Cool. No problems. Ingram, have you seen the documentary on Motive Media YouTube channel, Scottish boxer Kieran Smith? Was a good watch about lack of opportunities, etc. Whilst he was still working. He is an MTK fighter. Yeah. No, I haven't seen it, but thanks for letting me know, Nathan. I will check it out and have a look at it. Definitely. Eddie Hearn admitted a while ago he copped several media members like Dafrael and some of those YouTubers. Those YouTubers were claiming, I'm not getting paid during this pandemic. There we go. There we go. See, I'm no surprise. No surprise whatsoever. Yep. We've always been on payroll. The show referred to is still on IFL TV. It had Misha Joy Phelps, Ray and Raheem, and Marco from Fight Hub. All these boys were on a payroll from Eddie to Zone. Well, it's nothing new, is it? Nothing new. Nothing new. Nothing new. So, you know, I'm not on the payroll. I don't wish to be in the payroll. I'm not interested in being a payroll. I'll payroll my own damn self. I don't need to be on their payroll. You understand? I'll do my own. Don't need it. Since White has been cleared, have you noticed that hasn't spoken a peep about Joshua to extensions like he did in Dieter before? There you go. Now you tell me if that ain't something there, huh? You tell me that ain't something there. Tell me. Yeah, that's a fact. Ingram, what are your thoughts on Matchroom's latest fight camp? The fights, Bakali versus Kuzman, is a well-matched fight, in my opinion. Both guys are 15-1, both lost one to Hunter. The backyard fights, in my backyard fights. You know, I'll be brutally honest with you, yeah? I've become a bit of a, no, I am. I'm a diva, right? And you know where there's a standard of boxing, there's a standard of fights that you will sit down, you will watch, and you'll think, yeah, I'm gonna watch that. Yeah, this fight doesn't interest me in the slightest. I like Bakole. I think he's a wonderful guy, nice guy. I don't think, it doesn't make me think I'm going to get off playing, for example, I'm going to get off playing FIFA to watch this fight. I don't feel that. And if I don't feel that, I'm not going to watch it. I have to have something that, there has to be a storyline for me to watch a fight. There has to be some affiliation. I like Bakole, but if Bakole was getting a rematch with Michael Hunter, I'd watch that. If Bakole was fighting Dave Allen, I'd watch that. If Bakole was fighting Joe Joyce, I'd watch that. If Bakole was fighting Daniel Dubois, I'd watch that. This fight, I don't care much for. I'd like to see Martin Bakole fight somebody in the UK, and then I'd like to see somebody fight somebody that I can get some sort of. I just got no interest in the fight. I'd never thought much of Kuzman in the first place. Only Ruben did. Well, that's your opinion. I'm not saying one way or the other. I really watch IFL now, to be honest. Most channels are agenda driven. White, this, Fury, this is beyond boring now. Well, look, I've said something in the beginning, and I will continue to say, start with the same energy as you mean to go on. I have been doing this now too damn long. And the one thing through thick and through thin, and through people mocking you and people laughing at you and people watching you and people not watching you, I've stayed like that. I try to stay like that. Get top people on, top fighters on, top fighters on, grassroots fighters on, managers on, promoters on. Just try to keep it like that. Try and find the truth and give the people that are watching the education that they might be lacking on a certain fighter or certain game plan, or just to give them an insight. It's not about me, never been about me. It's always been about the guest. And the more information I can draw out of the guest, the more of a better boxing experience you can have when you see that person fighting or that trainer in the corner. And it builds a story for you rather than it being about me and my personality and what I've got to say. So, you know, I've got opinions, but they're no different to anyone else's. I just try and keep myself as balanced as possible. And the more I do this, the more balanced I try to be, and just try to be as honest as possible while doing it. It can be genuine, but still be politically favorable for one side. How are you going to tell these apart? That's a good question. But I think history serves us. These people, they do the same things over and over and over again. these people in positions of power, they do the same things over and over again. They act the same way because they get away with it. There's no repercussions for it. So, which leads me to my next road, where I'm going to be talking about what I see is going to happen in this White Fury Usyk situation. Ben Yusuf, my brother, Miller's going to end up in the trunk of an abandoned car in a car parking lot, owing Jay Prince. Don't think Aram's going to bail him out of these repercussions, as did Floyd. It's pretty brutal. But if people have invested money in you, you can't make that money back. By the way, my brother, make sure people know about your show. Let them know about your show tomorrow night. My man, shout out to you and the chat. Yes, my brother, I hope that you're well. You were looking good in them weight room, looking real good in the weight room. Same here. No journalistic integrity for that channel. Interviews are becoming more and more cringeworthy. Hacked on sub a while ago. Okay. If it happened and it is already out there, not so bad bringing it up when he's done it again. Okay, fair enough. Boxing needs a league with a commission and rules. We're basically watching a cartel of sanctioning bodies operate a sport with corrupt state and country athletic commissions. Thank you very much, sir. Has to be said, and that's the truth. Get them likes up, people. Yeah, smash the like button while you're in, please. Right, I want to talk about another situation here. Not big earners in boxing versus top earners in boxing. The guys in boxing, you all know them, the guys that box and are moving up the rankings, beating people up, but they're not really, the word's not household names, they're not big earners. Being on pay-per-view doesn't make you a person of influence. Being on pay-per-view does not make you a person of influence. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that statement because Dillian White, all the pay-per-views, a lot of you are saying he's a pay-per-view fight, he's a pay-per-view fight. All those pay-per-view fights, the only thing those pay-per-view fights did was give you the money to get a good legal team to go and take on the WBC. Those pay-per-views didn't get the Anthony Joshua fight, did it? Those pay-per-views did not lead him to fighting Deontay Wilder, did it? Those pay-per-views did not get him any closer to those two fights, did they? 1,000 days later, and the rest. So don't tell me about pay-per-view Dillian White. And he needs, again, I keep saying, needs to be an American, fight in America. Here's my concerns now about Dillian White and Povetkin. I suspect if Dillian White gets past gets past Povetkin, they're going to put Alexander Usyk in there with Dillian White. I suspect that. And then I think they might throw a WBC title in that. That's a quick way to avoid Tyson Fury and Joshua making big money. Check it out. Well, let's discuss that for a second. Pulev doesn't bring money to the table. Usyk doesn't bring money to the table. And White doesn't bring money to the table. Sorry, they don't. They don't. So that little, sort those three out there. Let them beat the crap out of one another if you can. But definitely White, Povetkin, and Usyk. I see that happening. Because Usyk's got a mandatory with Joshua, with the WBO, he's got to honor. How do you make him honor that? You just divert Usyk and push him over to fight Dillian White. Why do I think that would happen? Just watch what the promoter's done before. Look what he did with Luis Ortiz. Luis, always the best promoter in the world. Brought Luis Ortiz over, got him fighting who? Did he get him close to Anthony Joshua? No. What did they go and do? They gave him a fight with Dave Allen, and Malik Scott. Still can't deliver Dillian Whyte a world title shot with all the pay-per-views. So the pay-per-views, for me, are just a pacifier. That's it. A pacifier until you get your ass beat. So they're hoping upon hope that Dillian Whyte gets knocked out by Povetkin. That solves the problem. And then if he gets knocked out by Povetkin, they'll shut the door completely on him. They'll shut the door completely on him. Now that's the vindictiveness that would happen if you got beat. Yes, final bell on Danger Zone. Boxing Talk this Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check it out, people. With my brother there. No, that's true. They didn't get him closer. But why did Whyte stay on? Because he was made up. Somebody promised him something. Somebody promised him something. Somebody must have promised him something, because at the end of every fight, he's going, Wilder, where are you? He was carrying on. If you look at Dillian Whyte after every fight afterwards, he was like that child that was promised, if you're a good boy, we're gonna open a shop for you and we're gonna go and buy your PlayStation. Like somebody says, the dad says, yeah, we're gonna buy your PlayStation. If you just do this, we'll buy your PlayStation. And then after it's like, yeah, we're gonna go and buy the PlayStation. And then it says, nah, not yet. We can't get the PlayStation yet because the car broke down. But the next time, we're going to get the PlayStation. And see what? We'll even get a better PlayStation for you. We'll get a PlayStation 4, plus we'll throw in a bag of crisps as well. Oh, really? Okay. So you get the next day comes. And then, yeah, I'm going to get the PlayStation and a bag of crisps for you as well. No. Actually, well, what the situation? It's just a Pied Piper leading people astray, lead them on down a path to nowhere. I said it with your second Chisora fight. Dillian Whyte is on a path going nowhere soon. Nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Nowhere. So, how did I know that before the Chisora fight? When he was fighting Helenius, this is a path to nowhere. Then they hope that on this pathway that he gets beat. They thought maybe Rivas will do the job. Okay. Maybe Joseph Parker will do the job. Okay. Maybe Robert Helenius will do the job. All right. Well, maybe they ain't going to do the job. All right. Well, okay. Right. Well, Povetkin will do the job. He could have left sooner. Can't say he didn't realize, as he seems a smart businessman. Well, yeah. Spoke to Aaron about that. Dillian Whyte could have fought Pulev for a title eliminate. He also could have fought Ortiz for a title eliminate. He opted to fight Parker and Chisora rematch that no one outside the UK cared about. This is interesting. You say that. What about Alexander Usyk? I don't hear anybody talk about Alexander Usyk. Usyk was meant to fight Takam, didn't fight Takam. Usyk was meant to fight Luis Ortiz, didn't fight him. Instead, he got Chaz Witherspoon. Why is nobody talking about that? The former undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world. Any petition to get Ortiz and out the WBA rankings when he popped for the medical drugs. Yeah, but then he had a big thing about saying all these fighters were dirty, and then afterwards had a problem them popping dirty, and then had them on his card afterwards. Interesting. Dillian made bad decisions in the past and allowed himself to be used by his promoter. He was being used to run interference for AJ when Wilder was calling AJ out. Of course. Eddie fed Whyte the pay-per-view carrot to make sure he stayed with Sky. It's been dangling for a while, and it's not like Whyte hasn't had opportunities at some point. Can't blame it on the promoter fully. Right. So actually, so you're sitting here. You're sitting here believing that if Whyte fought Pulev, he'd get a world title shot now. You really believe that? You really believe that? You really believe that? And if he fought Luis Ortiz, he would have got a world title shot. Do you really believe that? After all the BS is going on? I don't think so. I think if he beat Luis Ortiz, they'd put something else in front of him. Like they're doing now. If he beats Povetkin, they're already talking about Alexander Usyk. Where am I getting Alexander Usyk's name from? Well, I'm just pulling it out the sky. So they're already telling you what they want to do. You know what? Bob Arum says Usyk should fight Dillian White. Why would he say that? Why would Bob Arum make a statement like that? Because Bob's smart. Get Usyk out of the way, and then we can make the big fight between Joshua and Fury. Just get Usyk out of the way, because he'll just mess up our plans. They know what will happen if Usyk gets the title. Usyk will get the title and probably run off back to the Ukraine, right, and make all these titles like how the Klitschko's did. Run off to Ukraine and have a whole heap of defenses out there and have how the Klitschko's had it. It's how the Usyk would do it, and I don't think they want that happening. So before that happens, let's have Fury versus Joshua. IBF. What about IBF? What about the IBF? What about the IBF? The IBF leads to Anthony Joshua, right? And of course, Joshua was so willing to fight White, right? AJ's next mandatory is for the IBF. Yes, because he's fighting Kubrat Pulev. And after Kubrat Pulev, there's the WBL, which is tune in from Cincinnati. Hey, Harold, how are we doing? Brother, I hope you're well. Says, notice that after Fury beat Wilder to get the title, Eddie stopped pushing for White's title shot. No more 600 days BS. Instead, he was talking about Fury versus AJ. There you go. You see? Yes, Ingram, with the 70s afro, LOL. What's happening, brother? I'm embracing my afro-ness. I really am. I'm loving it. It's a project. It is a project. It's going somewhere. But it is starting to get a bit tiresome to maintain. Dillian White is to blame for his own thing. He could have left Hearn. He could have fought Ortiz versus Brazil. It's like this. Guy doesn't want any tough fights. Coach, really? I mean, I'd say that Oscar Rivas was a difficult fight. And I mean, Joseph Parker is no pushover. And he's now fighting Povetkin. They're not easy fights. And let's be honest, if we look at Tyson Fury's record outside the Klitschko fight, and you're talking about tough fights, take the Wilder fight and take the Klitschko fight away. Look at what Fury's been fighting. Look what Pianetta, Safa Safiri, Otto Wallin, and what's the other guy? Those four guys. So, I mean, when you talk about tough fights, Fury's fights are not great outside of the two Wilder fights and the Klitschko fight. The stuff in between has been garbage, pure garbage. So you've got GB Boxing, and now you've got BG London. I love it. IBF are stricter with Mandos, and wasn't Pulev White IBF Mando? IBF mandatory. Let me talk about IBF for a second. When Porter was IBF champion, yeah. When Kell Brook beat Porter for the IBF, Porter was removed out of the IBF rankings. One, and wasn't it the IBF, the same IBF that was gonna pull the title away from Fury? Again, that's an interview on our channel. Check it out. You missed my question, Ingram, brother. What was the question? Let me go back to your question. Let's go back up, mate. That would have been a mistake. Let me see. Let me look for you. Sorry. Why do you think Al Heyman didn't push PBC UK like we all thought he would have? It was a real opportunity missed, in my opinion. Well, I personally, if you ask my opinion, I think he had the wrong people around the table. That's what I think. I think Al Heyman had the wrong people around the table. My personal opinion. I think PBC could do wonders in the UK. He just has, and there's always the opportunity for him to come back. I just think that he had the wrong people around the table. And it could have just been a scouting mission. Let's see this project for a couple of years. Let's see who does what and how they move. Let's not just go and see. Let's see who does what. so I get to get a better scope of the UK, and we can always come back afterwards. Just the lay of the land. I don't think Al Heyman is, this is a guy that's dealt with Motown. He's a very, very, very astute businessman. So I don't know. I don't think we'll see the last of PBC. That's my opinion. Yeah, so there's my. Did I answer your question there? The afro is cool, Ingram. You should put the afro pick in the back of the head to finish the look. Yo, they're gonna end up like Adrian Broner. GB Boxing Bless. You're right. List of bums for Fury. There you go. So when we're talking about Dillian Whyte, and we put the resumes together, yeah, he fought Klitschko and he fought Wilder. Opportunities. Fury got the opportunities, right? And he was willing to take those fights, sure. And he won those fights, okay? But Dillian Whyte hasn't been given the opportunity to fight for a world title. Let's be honest, he hasn't. That's 1,000 days. Had he been given a shot to become a world champion, we'd even know Dillian Whyte now as a world champion, or at least we'd know how good he actually is since his defeat to Joshua. So we really still don't know. Without Klitschko and Wilder, Fury has fought nothing but domestic Euro level and sea level opponents. Well, there we go. So I'm not knocking Fury at all. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking Fury. I'm just saying, well, when we talk about Dillian Whyte, let us also talk about Tyson Fury. And one other thing, while I'm at it, have you noticed that for all Tyson Fury's talk, he has not once denied that he was dropped by Dillian Whyte? I've not heard him say anything about him being dropped by Dillian Whyte. Facts, Chris. He made his bed, now he needs to lay in it. Well, if pay-per-view's laying in your bed, I guess he's doing a lot better than a lot of guys. IBFC strictest they are. Good afternoon, Ginnies. The PBC is always going to have issues with other promoters because of how they do business. Boxers promoting themselves and such. That's why the machine is behind certain fighters. Yeah, exactly. If you want to get a title shot, IBF is the best to be mandated for. If Whyte turned that down, can't say the promoter's fault, as that's the best option. Well, you never know. Why was Dillian Whyte pushing the WBC route? Why was he pushing WBC route? Well, hold on a second. Let me stop you there just for a second to ask the question. And I have to ask the question, people. Like, you see there's certain fighters, yeah, that go to certain trainers. Like, you sign with certain promoters, they end up going with certain trainers. Was it the plan in the first place for Whyte to go down the WBC route regardless of what? Because he seemed to be mad focused on that WBC belt. When I couldn't understand for the life of me why I wouldn't go down the WBA route. Or why you didn't get a fight where you could be, try and fight. When you saw things weren't going right with WBC, go down the WBA route. And I've definitely given Whyte a chance against Manuel Shah. I don't know. If Whyte could have fought Ortiz and beat him, he could have fought Wilder for WBC title. He opted to fight Chisora instead. Okay. Look, it's like I say before, I'll say it again. We like to make excuses after the fact. I told you back then that Ortiz was an old man when Wilder first fought him. People came on this channel adamant that Ortiz was the bogeyman. But who did he beat to be the bogeyman? First, who did he beat to be the bogeyman? Second, said he's an old man. And Wilder's he'll knock him out. Those same people came back for the rematch. Still talking the talk. He's got a nice haircut now. Ortiz is the man. And he got blown out. He got knocked out even faster. The bottom line is this. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. If Dillian Whyte had fought Ortiz and he beat Ortiz, it'd have been something else. Someone else had been put in. It'd have been more. If he'd beaten Ortiz, there'd have been something else put in front of him. I don't really believe It's as simple as that. And you've got to remember, Kubrat Pulev has got the backing of Bob Arum, which is interesting. He is actually signed to Bob Arum, and Dillian Whyte is a free man, which means there's a difference there. We're forgetting that as well, people. Warren would have got White fighting for that WBO belt. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What was it? Oh yeah. For every bad decision, can't say he's made them decisions without say. For every bad decision, can't say he made them decisions without say. What? I don't get that. You'll have to send that to me in English if you can. So yeah. So we talked about White and Fury. I have to agree with Hamza. If White had beaten Ortiz, that would have been him fighting Wilder in October, not Ortiz. Wilder has no reason to fight White. He's just a guy over here. Right. Well, I'm gonna jump off the back of that for a second and actually agree with you on that point. Only to an extent. The extent of he may have had that fight against Wilder. But why would he have that fight against Wilder? Because the Lewis Ortiz fight doesn't generate, okay, he beats Lewis Ortiz. But then after that, who's Dillian Whyte in America? See, Tyson went to America and built his name in America. Had those fights in America to build up the fight between himself and Wilder. That fight was built up way before, because remember Fury was in America and Wilder and Fury did that face-off on Showtime. So that fight was being built a long time. Dillian Whyte fighting Lewis Ortiz does not get him a direct shot at Wilder. I don't care. It's boxing is money first, and then entertainment afterwards. And for what Dillian Whyte brings to the table, in terms of the threat and then the money, why not avoid that and fight Fury instead? So I agree with the point of you saying if you got the title shot, if he fought Ortiz, he would have got the title shot, or he should have been in a position to get a title shot. But this is business, and White doesn't make business sense. He's had one fight in America against Malcolm Tang, and that is where marketing wise and the Americans don't know him. And that's the problem I have with that. If you avoid it and being silent, isn't the best way to get a top by being mandated instead of not being mandated fighting pay-per-view? No, the best way to do is get your ass over to America and fight some fights where the Americans can see you, get big exposure, and then put pressure on the guy you want to fight. That's how that works. Hamza says facts. If White would have beaten Ortiz, you could sell that. Ortiz, before February, was the only man to give Wilder problems. That's not true. That is categorically not true, Coach Chris, because didn't what's his name? What's the boy's name? Didn't Molina wobble Deontay Wilder? Didn't make him do a chicken leg dance? In that theory, then it was right that Anthony Joshua fought Molina, because he made Wilder do a chicken dance. I just don't. I understand what you're getting at, but I just don't think boxing works that way when it comes to business. I just don't. I think people would say that who's Dillian Whyte? Yeah, he beat Ortiz, but Wilder beat him already. He has to fight somebody else. I think people would say that. They need to see more of him. And look, Fury beat Klitschko, yeah? Fury beat Klitschko. That fight didn't get made like that, did it? For the Wilder fight. Fury beat Klitschko like that. I know Fury went off and he had his issues and he came back. You know, but he had the Klitschko win, and he built himself up. Then he got that fight against Wilder. So I don't know. Fury had at least behind him the win of Klitschko. Beating Pulev would have given bring White closer to the title shot again. See, I don't know. I just think this still go round and round and round. I don't think beating Kubrat Pulev gets your world title shot. I just don't. I don't. Right? Well, okay, that's the case. Let me ask you a question. Who did Alexander Usyk beat to be a WBO mandatory? One. Who did Chris Arreola beat to get to fight Deontay Wilder? Who did Eric Molina beat to fight Anthony Joshua? These are questions I'm asking because all these guys got shots at the title. So unless you're going to consider they're all voluntary defenses, question. Spilker boxed well versus Wilder before getting knocked out as well. Thank you very much. Haha, I remember that. I see where you're coming from. There you go. See, boxing is a business first. They don't care about you, the fans. You fans think you're so entitled and think that, you know, they care. They don't give a damn about you. That's why they can rob you blatantly in your face. Blatantly in your face. And you go, you got robbed. You got robbed. You got robbed. Yeah, it's a travesty. And then you'll say that. And then the next week, you're back there paying your pay-per-view to watch the same promoter rob you right in front of your eyes again. So they don't care about you. That's why they can put on BS pay-per-view fights with two guys who've done 4 rounds between them. It is what it is. I'm sorry. Hi, mate. I'm watching live with a friend, Scott Chegg. He's a massive fan of yours. Can you give him a birthday shout-out? Yeah, I'm always careful with these shout-outs now because of... but hello, Scott Chegg. Happy birthday. Washington was similar as well. Oh, my God. Oh, mine's going light. I'm getting lightheaded. Joe Washington. Who did he beat? Oh my God. Oh boy, it's getting terrible. This is getting terrible. BG London. I think White has won the WBC silver champion from Chisora fight. Sullivan would have got a sanctioning fee. There you go. It's in the rules, bro. The business and politics of boxing makes you just want to throw up sometimes. Such a corrupt and dirty sport we love. There we go. So now you're getting where I'm coming from. I'm trying not to look at this from the fans' perspective. Because the fans' perspective is where we believe things that are not true. Oh, if he fights this guy and he beat that guy, he would have got a world title shot. No. 1,000 days. 1,000 days. Come on, man. WBO rules, if champ moves up, he's automatic Mando. Isn't Usyk who's first such Mando? Okay. Well. Scotch egg, it's a troll. Yeah, well, I hope the troll enjoyed it. See, that's how genuine a guy I am. You see? But it's funny and I laugh. Ha 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 ha. Funny. Right. I thought WBC get a percentage out of the purse. I don't know. They probably do. Every belt you hold is sanctioned. You've got paid to sanction body, haven't you? So, actually, wait. Rewind a second. The silver belt, yeah? If we're going to go to the WBC silver belt, if I'm correct, if you've got a silver belt, that entitles you to be the next in line for a title shot. Wait. Let's rewind a second. Isn't that how Manuel Shah got his shot at Vitaly Klitschko? Because he had that WBC silver belt. I thought the WBC silver belt was like you win that belt and then allows you to fight in the next fight for the title. Somebody please correct me on that one if I'm wrong. Because if I had the silver belt, why the hell would I go and fight for an IBF mandatory or why I go and fight for a WBO mandatory when I've already got the silver belt which entitles me to a title fight? Chris, he has been turning me off boxing. I tell you the truth. Joe Washington versus David Price would be a 50-50 blockbuster according to Matchroom. Yes, he would be. Mouth-watering and daring to be great. A way back for David Price to fight for the world title. It's a 50-50 matchup. I couldn't call it. You know, David Price is a big puncher. Joe Washington is a big puncher. Joe Washington's tall. That Price is tall. Price might win it because Price is taller. All that sort of crap. Oh my gosh. Some got me with the same Ingram. Yeah, you got to laugh in it. You got to laugh at it. You can't take yourself too seriously in this. That's one thing I've learned. Hamza, it's been hard, bro. Bro, it's been hard, especially after seeing the new videos about Fury's right glove. Makes you wonder what I'm exactly a fan of. Ouch, Glovegate. I know I keep hearing more about this Glovegate more and more. Somebody said that Wilder's got indents in his head now. Ouch. Brazil was Mando, but can't remember him having silver belt. By the way, you had Brazil and White, and I believe that White had the silver belt, and Brazil was chosen to fight Wilder at the time. Makes my stomach turn. Such connery. I want to talk about someone else for a second. I did a video the other day on Herkovich. Prices should move to bare knuckle boxing. No, I actually want to see David Price fight for a world title. I want to see, before David Price retires, I want to see him fight for a world title. I don't care who it is against. I want to see. I still would love to see David Price versus Anthony Joshua. I still would love to see that fight. WBC is a mess, Jesus Christ. Yeah, well, there you go. It is a mess. Herkovich, broke him out of the division. Here we go. Roll. Mate, I would have did more research on Philip Herkovich. And lo and behold, in fact, the research came to me. It was Philip Herkovich versus Joe Joyce. And Herkovich came out. And I swear to God, I swear to you, yeah, Herkovich against Joe Joyce, and Herkovich at the time was the experienced amateur versus Joe Joyce, the inexperienced amateur, and they kept saying it all the time. Herkovich hasn't changed much in his style, and it seemed when Joyce started getting on top of Herkovich, he didn't like it. He got flustered. He didn't enjoy it, and the gas tank wasn't great. And if Herkovich gets backed up like that in the pros and gets hurt like that in the pros, he might. He moves a lot like Vitaly Klitschko, but I don't know. Again, I have to see Herkovich get backed up until I have to see him get backed up by somebody who knows what they're doing, and then we'll see how good Herkovich is. Price versus Helenius would be decent. Yeah. Price versus Shaw for the... Yeah, there you go. There you go. Let me have that fight. Let me have that fight. David Price, Manuel Shaw, WBA, regular type. Let me have that fight. If I'm a promoter, I'm taking that fight. I'm taking that fight. And I'm gonna call it the Last Chance Saloon. We have here David Price. Almost back from the dead David Price. He's coming for one final opportunity to become the heavyweight champion of the world. So I'd stick Price in with Shaw. I really would. I really would. That glove was looking funny, but unfortunately, cheating is part of the boxing. It took a while before Margarita was caught. Luis Resta was caught after the fact too. This is professional boxing. So is spiking in boxing. People's water being spiked before they walk to the ring. People being spiked as they're fighting in the water, stuff in the water. Yeah, it happens. Parker versus Hunter should be made. I like Herkovich. He needs to step it up now. Yeah, yeah. Parker versus Hunter. Now Hunter beats Parker. Hunter beats Parker. Parker under his current trainer. Hunter beats him. Professor Quinner would have had something to say about that. LOL. Yeah, he would. Tara Bright needs a fight. Well, I keep talking to his trainer, Stacey McKinley. In fact, we were meant to get an interview with him the other day. Hold on. Oh, hang on. Yes, a female boxer who's in the UK at the moment, and she's on her way to Las Vegas. I'm trying to get her to. She wants to do it. I talked to her yesterday. See if we can get the interviewer today. Yes. Yes. Okay. Right. So this girl, female boxer, she's going to be turning. She's going to Las Vegas, and we'll be having her on the show tonight. So, female boxer coming in tonight, and she'll be fighting in Vegas. She's just moving over to Vegas from the UK. Parker Hunt is a great fight. Parker, good fighter. I'd like to see Fury versus Usyk. A weird clash start. Yeah, that'd be a good fight. Volin versus Charles Martin or Helenius would be good. Yeah, I don't take a lot of stock. You know, Otto Volin's one of these guys. I suspect is one of these guys that's going to look really good against Fury and then get sparked by somebody we didn't care about. I get that feeling about Otto Volin. I really do. Hamza, that's crazy. I'm now convinced Fury Wilder 3 will not happen. If you're that scared in a boxing ring, load your gloves. No way you'll get in that ring for a fair scrap. Coward. Hrgovic is real deal. Nobody is going to want that smoke in the future. Hrgovic got beat by Joe Joyce in the amateurs. And that was because Joe Joyce just grit his teeth and just kept coming forward and kept throwing punches. And the pressure got too much for Hrgovic. And if that's his mental state now, then I suspect, unless he's become mentally stronger, the similar thing, that same sort of look in his eyes of being completely terrified because Joe Joyce just keep throwing punches at him. Go back and look at that fight. I hope that Hrgovic has improved. Do you feel Charles Martin gets angry by a lot of boxing fans? I think Charles Martin came to the ring with a pot noodle. I couldn't believe it when he did come to the ring with pot noodle. Actually, let me tell you who this girl is. I think you guys need to know who this girl is. So you can do your research on her. I saw her, and it was actually by Rainer Goldwall. He's a German promoter. Does a lot of the big fights over in Germany and stuff. And I was talking to him when I was with Uncle Bashir. So he basically said to me that here's the girl. I'll tell you the girl's name. You can look her up. He sent me the article on her. Her name is Kalila. Her name is Kalila Karuni. So let me type her name in for you, and then you can all go and do your research on her. But she's going to be on the show tonight. Kalina K-O-U-R. O-U-N-I. That's her name. There you go. Can you see that? That's the girl's name, Kalina Karuni. She's going to be on the show tonight around 7:15, 7:30. Female boxer. I mean, the photograph looks like she's got a couple of titles there as well. Yeah, so if anyone wants to do some more research in her, she's talking. Yeah, so if somebody wants to do a little research on her, they can do, because that's who I'll be talking to shortly. Hrgovic is good. I agree. Hunter would be a good fight. I think if I'm Hrgovic, I avoid the Joe Joyce fight. No shame he loses to Joe Joyce. Not when people are talking about Joe Joyce the way that they are. I like Joe Joyce. I think Joe Joyce is dangerous. Kuzmin sparked Joyce in the amateurs. It depends. Pros can be different, but we'll see. Joyce is a good fighter, I agree. Coach Chris, I feel you, but with an awkward guy like Wilder who's got an equalizer, you have to find a way to win by any means necessary. Plus, don't forget Fury comes with that long line of bare knuckles. Martin versus Elenius would be good. I think Martin wins. Mike Hunt is the cameraman. Hergovich can get that smoke. Yeah, Pink Tyson. There we go. Yeah, I think that is. Yeah, you might be right. You are right. I think it's Pink Tyson. I think it's Pink Tyson we're talking to tonight. Should have known better. Fury was in peak condition with a loose left glove, a padless right glove, just to fight the man. I don't think Fury has the stones for a fair fight. Chris, Fury is contractually obligated to fight Wilder. He'll fight him, but eyes will be on him, so he'll have less room to cheat. Hergovich will beat Hunter, I reckon, but a damn good fight. No. Hergovich can't beat Hunter. Hergovich is too straight up and too stiff. He's going to have to find range to put that jab. Hunter's going to outmove him, move him, get inside and beat him up. Hunter loves guys like Hergovich. They're like this. Hergovich looks good against guys that are short and squat and don't know how to get in. That's why Hergovich looks good. Hergovich looks good against guys that stand straight in front of him. But like most East European fighters that stand up like that and fight like that, they get found out when they fight a guy who's loose and has got a lot of movement. And just look at Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce himself was just walking forward doing that. And that gave Hergovich problems. What's Hergovich going to do with a guy who's going to be like a matrix on him? But we all have different opinions. If Dubois beats Joyce, he surely would be pushed for... I don't think he beats Joyce, though. I don't think Dubois beats Joyce, but we'll wait and see. She was on Hughie Fury versus Joseph Parker. Remember him? Yeah, I do remember. Briefly. I think he's going to get out of it if it means dropping the title. You know what kind of fear it took to get in a ring with padding removed. He was scared as hell. But I know you say that, Coach Chris, but I think the way Fury set up his box, the way he boxed that night, was the best I've seen Fury box ever. He looked toe pack. He looked right. The way he set himself up. Technically looked great. All the stuff about the gloves, but he looked good. Hergovich will put Hunter off. No, he won't. That's boxing science, bro. Not caveman boxing. That's why Kuzmin got his ass whooped by Hunter. He's just big and strong. He's too stiff. No. Right. What time is it? Let me get myself ready for Pink Tyson. Because I need to go and do a little bit of research on Pink Tyson before Pink Tyson gets in. Yeah. So, right. I'll be back between 7:15 and 7:30 with Pink Tyson. Be nice to have a... let's stop talking shit about Fury. You know what people can do with computer. Yeah. Listen, I've said it myself, and I'll keep on saying it. That was the best I saw Tyson Fury box in his whole career. The way he would set himself up, the way he worked the jab and threw his punches, I thought he looked... That's the best I've ever seen Tyson Fury fight. He looked better in that fight than he did against Chisora. He looked better in that fight than he did against Klitschko. So, yeah. And he did exactly what I said you need to do to beat Wilder, which is the double jab and walking back to the ropes. He suffered memory loss in the first fight after the second time Wilder dropped him. The guy has been cheating for a while, by the way. Yeah. So, all right. I'm going to leave it right there. When I come back, I'll be talking to Pink Tyson. Should be interesting to hear what she's got to say for herself. Yeah. Go and watch Raging Bull for the first time, please. Hey, BG, make sure you come back for when I do my interview with Pink Tyson. So I'll be back here between 7:15 and 7:30 with Pink Tyson. I like Fury in that fight as well. He hardly did a step backwards. He should fight like that every time. I agree. Right, I'm out of here. Thank you all for watching. Please rate, subscribe, leave your comments. Always remember that the opinion you have should be of your own. And just take what I say as an opinion from a complete stranger. Take care, I'm out.